Growth is a daily decision because every single morning you open your eyes, you stand at a crossroads where your choices determine who you will become. It is not something that happens accidentally, nor is it something that magically appears when circumstances become perfect. Growth requires intention. It demands that you consciously choose to elevate your actions, your thoughts, and your habits instead of drifting through the day unchanged. When you understand that growth is built in the small choices you make repeatedly, you stop waiting for the right moment and start creating it through commitment and consistency. Growth is a daily decision because every day brings new challenges that invite you to rise higher than your excuses. Some days you feel motivated, but others you feel tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. Yet it is in those uncomfortable moments that the greatest growth happens. When you choose discipline over temptation, focus over distraction, and persistence over convenience, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than yesterday. That choice strengthens your character and builds a mindset that refuses to settle. Growth is a daily decision because your habits shape your identity. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are. If you want a stronger mindset, better results, or a transformed life, you must be willing to make decisions that reinforce the person you want to become. You cannot grow by waiting, hoping, or wishing. You grow by acting, practicing, learning, and reflecting. Each day is a new opportunity to refine your skills, deepen your understanding, and strengthen your discipline through intentional choices. Growth is a daily decision because the world around you is constantly changing, and staying the same is the fastest way to fall behind. What worked before might not work tomorrow. The mindset that helped you survive may not help you thrive. When you commit to growing daily, you stay adaptable, open-minded, and prepared for whatever comes your way. You learn to adjust, evolve, and upgrade your approach, giving yourself an edge that others never develop. Growth is a daily decision because breakthroughs are built one small improvement at a time. People often look for big moments, big opportunities, or big shifts, but the truth is that big results are the outcome of thousands of small, consistent choices. Reading a few pages, practicing a skill for a short time, making one courageous decision, or taking one uncomfortable step may seem small, but over time, these actions compound and create extraordinary transformation. Growth is a daily decision because your mind requires constant nourishment. Just as your body needs food, your mind needs fresh ideas, new perspectives, and continuous learning to stay sharp and strong. When you feed your mind with wisdom instead of noise, you elevate your thinking and open new possibilities. You begin to see opportunities where others see problems and solutions where others see obstacles. A growing mind becomes a powerful force that influences every part of your life. Growth is a daily decision because every day offers lessons waiting to be learned. Whether you succeed or fail, whether the day is smooth or chaotic, every experience carries wisdom, but you only gain that wisdom when you choose to pay attention. When you reflect on your actions, evaluate your mistakes, and acknowledge your progress, you turn ordinary moments into meaningful growth. You become someone who learns from life instead of someone who repeats the same patterns. Growth is a daily decision because you have the power to change your trajectory no matter where you start. No matter what has happened before, you can redirect your life by choosing to grow today. You can learn a new skill, break an old habit, strengthen your discipline, or shape your mindset. The moment you stop blaming circumstances and start taking ownership is the moment growth accelerates. Each day gives you the chance to rewrite your story through intentional action. Growth is a daily decision because without it, comfort slowly becomes a trap. The more you avoid challenges, the weaker your confidence becomes. The more you resist change, the more stagnant your life feels. But when you choose growth, you choose courage over fear and progress over stagnation. You step into discomfort not because it feels good, but because you understand it shapes you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. Growth is a daily decision because your future depends on the choices you make right now. Every action either moves you closer to your potential or keeps you stuck where you are. You don't need perfection. You don't need massive leaps. You simply need consistent commitment. When you wake up each day determined to improve, even in the smallest ways, you build a life of purpose, strength, and unstoppable momentum, education extends beyond classrooms because real learning does not begin and end within four walls, a chalkboard, and a scheduled timetable. Life itself becomes the ultimate instructor, revealing lessons through experience, struggle, exposure, and curiosity. The world around you constantly teaches ideas that no textbook can capture, and when you embrace this truth, you start to recognize that education is not limited to a place, but powered by a mindset. Every conversation you have, every challenge you face, every opportunity you take, and every mistake you make becomes part of your ongoing education. Education extends beyond classrooms because the most valuable skills you need in life are rarely taught in traditional settings. You learn resilience through hardship, discipline through repetition, and courage through facing what scares you. You learn emotional intelligence by dealing with difficult people, patience by enduring slow progress, and self-awareness by confronting your flaws. These lessons can't be memorized or graded. They are earned through lived experiences that shape your character and expand your capacity. Education extends beyond classrooms because your growth depends on your willingness to seek knowledge from everywhere. Books, mentors, failures, travel, observation, and even silence can teach you far more than a single curriculum. When you adopt a student mindset outside the classroom, you become open to insights that most people overlook. You begin to learn from environments others ignore, recognizing that wisdom hides in ordinary moments, unexpected places, and simple conversations. Education extends beyond classrooms because the world evolves faster than any rigid academic system can update itself. Skills that matter today may not have existed 10 years ago, and the skills that will define the future are being developed right now in real time. If you limit your learning to what you were taught in school, you limit your relevance, your adaptability, and your ability to lead in a changing world. Continuous self-education becomes the bridge between who you are and who you must become to thrive. Education extends beyond classrooms because success demands knowledge that is practical, applicable, and aligned with your goals. Schools may teach theories, but life teaches execution. You learn how to communicate effectively by practicing communication, how to manage money by making financial decisions, and how to lead by actually stepping into responsibility. Real-world learning forces you to grow through action rather than memorization, shaping you into someone capable of creating tangible results. Education extends beyond classrooms because your passions and interests often live outside traditional subjects. You may discover your love for entrepreneurship, creativity, leadership, fitness, or personal development only after exploring on your own. When you study what fuels your purpose, you learn faster, retain more, and grow deeper. This self-driven education becomes the foundation of your gifts, helping you develop talents that classroom environments often overlook or undervalue. Education extends beyond classrooms because every failure you face becomes a powerful teacher. A mistake teaches you what not to repeat. Disappointment teaches you resilience, and setbacks teach you perseverance. These experiences do not come with instruction manuals, but they shape your mindset, refine your judgment, and increase your strength in ways no lecture can duplicate. Choosing to learn from adversity transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. Education extends beyond classrooms because your environment and the people around you influence what you learn. Conversations with mentors, observations of successful individuals, and exposure to new perspectives expand your understanding far more effectively than memorized lessons. When you surround yourself with people who think bigger, act smarter, and pursue excellence, their mentality becomes part of your daily education, elevating your standards and shaping your behavior. Education extends beyond classrooms because technology has turned the entire world into a learning platform. With books, videos, courses, and tutorials available at your fingertips, there is no excuse for staying uninformed or unskilled. You can learn a new career, develop a new habit, or master a new skill simply by choosing to invest your time in knowledge rather than distractions. The power to evolve is no longer restricted by location or resources. It is driven by your desire. Education extends beyond classrooms because a truly successful life requires continuous learning, not occasional learning. Growth becomes a lifestyle, curiosity becomes a habit, and wisdom becomes a personal responsibility. When you embrace the idea that life teaches far more than any structured system, you start learning from every moment, every person, and every experience you encounter, transforming yourself into someone who evolves endlessly and intentional. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because everything you want to achieve begins with what you understand, what you are aware of, and what you are capable of applying. You cannot build a life that is bigger than the information guiding your decisions. If the knowledge you operate from is limited, your results will be limited. If your perspective is small, your opportunities will be small. Every breakthrough in life is preceded by a new level of understanding, a new idea, a new strategy, or a new awareness that elevates your thinking and expands what you believe is possible. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because you make decisions every day based on what you know. The quality of those decisions determines the quality of your outcomes. If you do not know how to manage your emotions, you will react instead of respond. If you do not know how to manage your finances, you will spend instead of multiply. If you do not know how to build discipline, you will procrastinate instead of progress. Knowledge becomes the foundation that supports your goals, your habits, and your future, and without upgrading it, your life becomes stuck in the patterns you've always known. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because the world rewards skill, not wishful thinking. You can desire success, but if you do not understand the skills required to achieve it, desire alone will never deliver results. Whether it is communication, leadership, strategy, discipline, or specialized expertise, the level of knowledge you master determines how far you can rise. People who increase their value through continuous learning become the ones who open doors, create opportunities, and elevate their circumstances. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because ignorance is expensive. What you don't know can cost you time, money, relationships, and opportunities. Many people stay stuck not because they are incapable, but because they lack the information that would change their direction. A single missing piece of knowledge can hold you back for years, while one powerful lesson can accelerate your progress overnight. When you commit to learning, you eliminate unnecessary mistakes and give yourself the advantage of making informed decisions. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because your mindset is shaped by what you feed your mind. If you consume negativity, you develop limiting beliefs. If you surround yourself with small thinkers, you adopt small expectations. But when you fill your mind with wisdom, growth, strategy, and truth, your confidence grows, your vision expands, and your identity strengthens. A powerful mind creates a powerful life, and that power comes from what you choose to learn and internalize every day. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because every level of growth requires new information. What worked in the past may no longer be enough for where you are going. Every time you want to elevate your income, expand your influence, or upgrade your identity, you must gain new knowledge that matches the level you desire. You cannot expect next level results with old level understanding. Advancement depends on evolution, and evolution depends on learning. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because your ability to solve problems is tied to what you understand. Life will present challenges, obstacles, and moments of pressure, and the solutions you find depend on the knowledge you possess. People who continue learning are equipped with strategies, perspectives, and tools that allow them to navigate adversity with confidence instead of fear. The more you know, the more capable you become of handling what life throws at you. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because opportunities are recognized through awareness. Many people miss chances to grow because they do not have the knowledge required to identify potential when it shows up. Awareness allows you to see value in places others overlook. It helps you notice patterns, understand timing, and seize moments that others walk past. Learning sharpens your vision, and a sharpened vision helps you step into opportunities that can change your entire future. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because the person you become is shaped by what you understand. Knowledge builds confidence, strengthens identity, and fuels capability. The more you learn, the more you expand who you are on the inside, and the outside world eventually aligns with that internal growth. Results follow identity, and identity follows understanding. As your knowledge grows, so does your ability to create a life that reflects your potential instead of your limitations. Your life cannot outperform your knowledge because greatness is never accidental. It is intentional, deliberate, and built on a foundation of continuous learning. Every skill you sharpen, every insight you gain, every principle you adopt adds another layer to the life you are constructing. When you commit to elevating your knowledge, you give yourself the ability to elevate your life, your habits, your relationships, your income, and your impact, creating a future shaped by awareness and empowered by wisdom. Consistency beats talent because talent alone is never enough to create lasting success. Many people are gifted, skilled, or naturally talented, but they never reach their full potential because they rely on flashes of ability instead of the discipline required to grow. Consistency, on the other hand, builds strength, resilience, and mastery through repetition and daily effort. When you show up every day, even when you don't feel motivated, you develop a level of reliability and endurance that raw talent cannot match. Consistency beats talent because growth happens gradually, not in sudden moments of inspiration. You cannot become excellent from occasional effort. Excellence is built through the small, repetitive actions that compound over time. When you choose to work consistently, you strengthen your habits, sharpen your skills, and build momentum that talent alone can never create. While the talented wait for motivation, the consistent create progress through discipline. Consistency beats talent because results come from what you practice, not what you promise. Many talented people talk about what they could do, but only the consistent prove it through action. You might not have the natural advantages someone else has, but if you outwork them day after day, you eventually surpass them. Consistency turns effort into progress and progress into mastery. Talent may give you a head start, but consistency determines who finishes strong. Consistency beats talent because discipline creates a level of focus that talent alone cannot sustain. Talented people often rely on their natural abilities, but when challenges arise, they struggle because they have not built the habit of persistence. Consistent people, however, know how to push through resistance because they have trained themselves to show up regardless of how they feel. Discipline becomes their advantage, helping them maintain momentum when others quit. Consistency beats talent because every moment of practice makes you better than you were yesterday. Even if your progress feels slow, every repetition strengthens your mind and sharpens your skill. Over time, these small improvements create major transformation. Talent may give you potential, but consistency turns that potential into reality. The person who improves by 1% every single day will always outperform the person who improves only when inspired. Consistency beats talent because life rewards those who persist. Challenges, setbacks, and failures are inevitable, but consistency allows you to navigate them with resilience. Instead of collapsing under pressure, you learn to adjust, adapt, and continue moving forward. Your commitment becomes stronger than your excuses, and your ability to endure becomes more powerful than temporary hardship. Talent may crumble under adversity, but consistency grows stronger through it. Consistency beats talent because repetition builds confidence. The more you show up, the more capable you become. You begin to trust yourself, trust your discipline, and trust your ability to produce results. This confidence compounds over time, creating a mindset that outperforms raw talent. You no longer depend on inspiration, you depend on the strong foundation you have built through consistent effort. Consistency beats talent because opportunities open for those who are reliable. When you consistently improve your craft, people notice. When you consistently produce results, doors open. When you consistently stay committed, you create a reputation that attracts success. Talent may catch attention, but consistency earns trust, and trust leads to opportunities that talent alone cannot secure. Consistency beats talent because discipline creates habits, and habits create transformation. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are. When consistency becomes part of your identity, you no longer struggle to stay on track. You naturally move toward your goals. The person who shows up every day will always grow faster and further than the person who shows up only when convenient. Consistency turns effort into a lifestyle, not an occasional decision. Consistency beats talent because mastery is not built in a moment. It is built over time. Every day you commit to your craft, your mindset, your health, or your goals, you are building a future that becomes stronger than any natural ability. Talent may fade if it is not developed, but consistency grows stronger with every action. Over time, the disciplined, committed, consistent individual becomes unstoppable, proving that greatness is not given. It is built through daily dedication. Knowledge must be paired with action because information alone cannot create transformation. You can read every book, attend every seminar, watch every video, and study every strategy, but if you never apply what you know, your life will remain the same. Knowledge becomes powerful only when it is executed through real decisions, real steps, and real changes in behavior. Without action, knowledge sits unused, becoming nothing more than potential that never turns into progress. Knowledge must be paired with action because understanding something intellectually is different from experiencing it. You can know how to build discipline, but until you practice it, you will not develop strength. You can know how to communicate, but until you speak, you will not improve. You can know what success requires, but until you take the steps, you will not achieve it. Action deepens learning by turning theory into skill and information into ability through real-world application. Knowledge must be paired with action because results come only from execution. People often stay stuck not because they lack knowledge, but because they hesitate to act on what they already know. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect level of confidence, not realizing that progress begins with imperfect action. When you take even the smallest steps, you create momentum that opens new paths, reveals hidden opportunities, and moves you closer to your goals. Knowledge must be paired with action because clarity comes from doing, not just thinking. You can plan endlessly, analyze every detail, and imagine every scenario, but action reveals what works and what doesn't. Through action, you get feedback. You learn faster. You grow stronger. You make adjustments that no amount of thinking could ever produce. Taking action transforms confusion into understanding and turns uncertainty into direction. Knowledge must be paired with action because the world rewards implementation, not intention. You can intend to grow, intend to improve, intend to succeed, but intention alone changes nothing. The people who rise are not the ones who know the most, but the ones who act on what they know. Every step you take separates you from those who stay in the comfort of planning without ever moving toward execution. Action becomes the force that converts dreams into reality. Knowledge must be paired with action because excuses weaken the power of what you know. You may know the right thing to do, but excuses can convince you to avoid doing it. Fear, doubt, laziness, and procrastination often stand between knowledge and action. When you push past those barriers and choose to act despite discomfort, you strengthen your character and build a mindset capable of turning knowledge into results. Knowledge must be paired with action because discipline grows through consistent practice. You cannot develop a strong work ethic by merely understanding its importance. You develop discipline by showing up when it's hard, committing when it's inconvenient, and taking steps even when motivation is low. Every time you act on knowledge, you reinforce your discipline and build habits that support long-term success. Knowledge must be paired with action because the gap between knowing and doing is where most people lose their potential. Many people stay stuck in the same place year after year because they gather information without ever using it. When you choose to act, even if you don't feel fully ready, you close that gap and take control of your growth. Acting on knowledge separates achievers from dreamers and builders from talkers. Knowledge must be paired with action because mastery is born from practice, not theory. You become skilled by repeating actions, refining techniques, and learning through trial and error. No amount of studying can replace the experience gained by doing. When you commit to applying what you learn, you accelerate your learning curve and develop mastery that makes you valuable, capable, and confident in your abilities. Knowledge must be paired with action because your potential becomes real only when it is expressed through movement. Every idea, every strategy, every lesson has the power to change your life, but that power is unlocked only through execution. The more you act on what you know, the more your life transforms from intention into impact, from knowledge into achievement, and from possibility into reality. Self-education builds the future you want because it gives you control over your growth, your direction, and your possibilities. When you rely solely on formal systems to teach you, You limit your potential to what those systems decide is important. But when you take responsibility for your own learning, you unlock the freedom to shape your mind in ways that align with the life you want to live. Self-education becomes the foundation of personal transformation because it empowers you to choose what you learn, and how deeply you grow. Self-education builds the future you want because it allows you to pursue knowledge that directly supports your goals. Traditional learning often teaches broad concepts, but self-directed learning teaches you exactly what you need at the exact moment you need it. Whether you want to improve your mindset, learn a new skill, build a business, or create financial independence, self-education provides the tools and insights that move you in the right direction. It becomes a personalized path to success, tailored specifically to your ambitions. Self-education builds the future you want because it transforms you into someone capable of solving your own problems. Instead of depending on others to guide you, teach you, or fix things for you, you gain the ability to research, analyze, understand, and act. This independence creates confidence, and confidence becomes the fuel for bigger goals and bolder decisions. The more you educate yourself, the more empowered you become to navigate challenges with clarity and courage. Self-education builds the future you want because it keeps you adaptable in a world that changes rapidly. Opportunities evolve, industries shift, and new skills become essential as time moves forward. If you stop learning, you become outdated. But when you commit to lifelong self-education, you stay ahead of the curve. You remain relevant, informed, and capable of adjusting to new realities. This adaptability becomes one of your greatest advantages in a competitive world. Self-education builds the future you want because it unlocks perspectives that reshape your mindset. Books, mentors, podcasts, and personal study introduce you to ideas you were never taught growing up. These ideas challenge your beliefs, expand your vision, and elevate your standards. When your mind grows, your expectations grow. When your expectations grow, your actions elevate. Ultimately, your results rise to meet the level of your thinking, all because you chose to invest in your own learning. Self-education builds the future you want because it helps you identify and strengthen your unique gifts. Schools often focus on standard subjects, but self-education allows you to explore your true passions, whether they are creative, technical, entrepreneurial, or personal. Through exploration, you uncover the abilities that set you apart, and by consistently developing those abilities, you create opportunities that align with your strengths. This process of discovery becomes a roadmap to the future you desire. Self-education builds the future you want because it fuels discipline and accountability. When you choose to learn on your own without a teacher or a system forcing you, you build internal discipline. You learn to manage your time, your focus, and your motivation. This discipline carries into every area of your life, helping you stay committed to your goals, consistent in your habits, and persistent in your actions. With discipline, even the biggest dreams become achievable. Self-education builds the future you want because it connects you with knowledge that generates wealth, progress, and freedom. When you study personal finance, business, communication, leadership, or emotional intelligence, you gain skills that have a real impact on your income and lifestyle. These are skills that many people never learn in school, yet they determine the quality of your life. By choosing to educate yourself, you gain the tools to elevate your financial stability and create opportunities that lead to long-term success. Self-education builds the future you want because it breaks generational patterns and creates new standards. When you learn new ways of thinking, new habits, and new strategies, you rise above the limitations that held previous generations back. You become the one who changes the direction of your family's story. Your decision to learn becomes the reason someone else in your life gets inspired to grow. Knowledge becomes the spark that ignites generational transformation. Self-education builds the future you want because it gives you the ability to evolve continuously. You no longer depend on circumstances, luck, or permission to grow. You become the architect of your own future, equipped with the mindset, skills, and wisdom to create a life defined by purpose and possibility. Through consistent learning, you shape your identity, your destiny, and the version of yourself capable of achieving everything you dream of.